Before Eve, there was another woman. She walked in the Garden of Eden. She was made from the same earth as Adam. She stood beside him as an equal, and when he tried to make her submit, she refused, and then she was erased. Her name was Lilith, and the story of why she was removed from the Bible tells us more about the people who built our religious traditions than any passage they chose to keep. Most people know the creation story of Genesis 2. God forms Adam from dust, then creates Eve from his rib. But there is another creation account, Genesis chapter 1, verse 27. So God created mankind in his own image. Male and female, he created them, both, at the same time, from the same source. If Eve was created in Genesis 2, from Adam's rib after Adam, then who was the woman created alongside Adam in Genesis 1? For centuries, ancient Jewish scholars asked exactly this question, and the answer they recorded in texts that predated the New Testament was Lilith. The alphabet of Ben Sirah, a text dating to somewhere between 700 and 1000 AD, but drawing on far older oral traditions, makes it explicit. Lilith was Adam's first wife. She was not formed from his rib. She was formed from the same dust, the same earth, his equal in every sense. And equality, it turned out, was the problem. The ancient text records the conflict with startling specificity. Adam wanted Lilith to lie beneath him during intimacy. Lilith refused. She said, and this is a direct quote from the rabbinic tradition, "Why must I lie beneath you? I was made from the same earth. We are equal." Adam did not accept this. He appealed to God, and God sent 3 angels to retrieve her, Senoi, Sansonoi, and Samangaloth. Lilith had already left the garden. She had flown to the Red Sea, a place the ancient world associated with demons and chaos, and she refused to return. The angels threatened her. If she did not come back, 100 of her children would die every day. Lilith accepted the punishment, but she did not return. What happened next is where the mythology fractures into something darker. Cast out of Eden and made into a demon, Lilith becomes in Jewish tradition the mother of the Lilim, night spirits, child-stealing entities, the thing mothers feared in the dark. A woman who refused submission became, in the retelling, a monster. Here is where theology meets archaeology, and the story becomes more complicated. The Burney relief, housed in the British Museum and dated to roughly 1800 BCE, shows a winged female figure flanked by owls standing on the backs of lions. She wears the horned crown of divinity. Scholars have argued for over a century about who she is, Inanna Ereshkigal, a demon. Some believe she is the earliest visual representation of Lilith, predating Genesis itself. In Sumerian mythology, there is the Lilu, storm demons, beings of the night air. The Akkadian Lilitu, a female wind demon who seduces men and kills children. The Hebrews who lived in Babylon during the exile, the same exile that shaped the final form of the Hebrew Bible, absorbed these traditions. They brought them back to Canaan, and then they did something fascinating. They tried to protect against her. Thousands of amulets have been found across the ancient Middle East, clay bowls inscribed with incantations against Lilith, placed face down under the floors of homes where pregnant women slept. People believed in her, they feared her, and they carved her name in clay to keep her away from their newborns. This is not mythology as metaphor. This was lived religious terror. So why did Lilith disappear from the official canon? The answer requires us to understand what the Bible is, not a single book handed down unchanged, but a collection assembled over centuries by editors with theological agendas. The Hebrew Bible was compiled and edited during and after the Babylonian exile, roughly 587 to 538 BCE. The editors, scholars call them the Deuteronomistic historians, were engaged in a specific project, creating a unified monotheistic identity for a people who had been scattered and humiliated. In that project, there was no room for Lilith, a story in which Adam's first wife refused to submit and was not punished for it, in which she walked away and survived, sent the wrong message. The editors needed a creation story that established hierarchy: God over humans, humans over nature, man over woman. Eve, formed from Adam's rib, dependent on him from the moment of her creation, served that purpose. Lilith did not. She was removed. Or more precisely, she was never officially included. The stories about her circulated in the margins, in rabbinic commentary, in mystical Kabbalistic texts, in folk traditions passed from mother to daughter about the dangers of childbirth. She survived where official authority could not reach. What do we make of Lilith in the 21st century? She has become, in modern culture, a symbol of female autonomy, reclaimed by feminist scholars, artists, and theologians who see in her story something the editors tried to bury: the possibility of equality at the very beginning. But there is a deeper truth here, beyond politics and symbolism. The story of Lilith reveals something about the nature of Scripture itself. Every text reflects the fears and values of those who wrote it. When those fears included female independence, female sexuality, and female refusal, those things became demonic. She was not erased because she was evil. She was erased because she was inconvenient. And the fact that she survived in clay bowls, in medieval manuscripts, in whispered tradition, suggests that the people who knew her story refused to let it die entirely. They wrote her name in the foundations of their homes. That is not how you forget someone. That is how you remember them. Next, the Gospel of Judas, the disciple history